Well, you have been forced to, General Bonta. I mean, this is supposed to be a conversation about Oregon. Let's talk about how it is that you ended up here and just how annoyed this judge, a Trump appointee, seems to be about the fact that she needs to rule on this not once, but twice.
The judge was annoyed, and AG Rayfield had things in hand with a temporary restraining order secured on Saturday, but Trump tried again in violation certainly of the spirit of that order by deploying 300 California National Guard from the LA area, 1,000 miles north to Portland. The judge came in hot at the hearing. She was not pleased. And her first question was, how is this deployment of the California National Guard to Portland not a violation of my order? And remember, sir, before you answer that question, you are an officer of the court. When you hear that, when you're an attorney before a judge, you got to mind your P's and Q's and make sure you're fulfilling your obligation ethical to the court and your duty of candor. So the judge, I think, with the great presentation from Oregon, joined in by Portland and California, was very clear that a second restraining order was appropriate. As AG Rayfield has very persuasively said in the past, what was unlawful on Saturday was still unlawful on Sunday. It doesn't matter what National Guard was being deployed, whether it be Oregon's from Oregon or California's from California. And mind you, they had Texas's in the ready as well. And that has been prohibited by a very broad scope order from the judge, preventing the deployment of any National Guard from any state or the District of Columbia to Oregon, because the facts on the ground do not justify it.
General Rayfield, the subtext to a lot of this is actually rather dark, and it's frightening, and it's antithetical to everything that our country stands for. You and General Bonta are on the front line. One, it is so good to see you united in this effort, sort of covering each other's back, if you will. And I know that the network of attorneys general, at least among Democrats, is heightened in that regard, in trying to sort of get the right information, figure out the legal avenues and challenges that lie in front of you as you confront this administration. But I was struck by the Minnesota Star Tribune from Friday, where it talked about the elite strike force that the Trump officials wanted to discuss sending into Portland. This is the text of the quote of the text. The messages suggest that the once extraordinary step of sending military troops into an American city has been normalized within the administration, the subject of a chat in a public place. Anthony Salisbury, a deputy to the White House top policy advisor Stephen Miller, sent the text over the private messaging app Signal while traveling in Minnesota and in clear view of others. In other words, they had plans designed to send in this elite army force into your city, sir. One, what's your reaction to know that this is really at the root of this and wanting to set Portland up as an example to carry this out? And then two, what are you doing now, and what have you learned from the success that you have had in the courts so far this weekend to position Oregon to stave off this assault on your 10th Amendment sovereignty?
Yeah, I mean, we all knew that this was going on, right? I mean, the text really confirms what we all knew to be true. You have a president telling his top brass he wants to train the military in our cities. You have him deploying the military, California, Memphis, D.C., Illinois, Oregon. They're talking about doing it more. You have him talking about the Insurrection Act. We're talking about the 82nd Airborne. You take these set of facts, isolate them, and you take them 20 years back, and we'd all be losing our minds right now. This is foundational to who we are as Americans. We don't have the United States military on our streets in the United States. You expect that in a third world country. You don't expect it here. And you better believe that Democratic AGs, we've been partnering from day one. And when they do this stuff, we're going to be in court, and we're going to talk about real facts. We're not going to be the president where we just start making up things and relying on Truth Social, because that's what happened earlier. In that hearing earlier this week in front of a judge, the federal government embarrassingly came in there and started relying on facts that the president had used on Truth Social. That's how low they're going right now. So it's very important for us to get in front of these neutral arbiters, talk about facts, because we cannot end up like a country that polices its communities using the military governed by the president. That it will not happen.
Today in the Oval Office, a reporter asked the president, quote, "The Insurrection Act, under what condition or terms would you invoke it?" This is how the president responded.
Well, I'd do it if it was necessary. So far, it hasn't been necessary, but we have an Insurrection Act for a reason. If I had to enact it, I'd do that. If people were being killed and courts were holding us up, or governors or mayors were holding us up, sure, I'd do that.
General Bonta, I am disturbed by that. Did you all hear the president? He said if the courts were holding us up, if mayors or governors were holding us up, by extension, you all are the ones that are filing the lawsuits, the attorney generals. The Insurrection Act allows the president to deploy federal troops within the U.S. to suppress civil disorder, insurrection, or rebellion. Are you concerned by what you just heard from the president of the United States?
Very, though not surprised. On brand for this president, who knows very little about the law, doesn't care for it, sees it as an inconvenience and an obstacle that gets in the way instead of the thing that he needs to follow, because we are a nation of the rule of law. And when he says that it's mayors and governors and judges that are getting in the way, that you mean democracy? You mean our democratic constitutional democracy? That's the way things work. That's the way decisions are made. Judges interpret the law. When it's violated, they can issue orders to stop and block the president from violating the law. Mayors and governors have sovereignty and have authority. The Insurrection Act is very clear. It requires a violent rebellion to overthrow the government. So a judge issuing an order per standard protocol, a mayor leading their city, a governor leading their state, that does not justify the Insurrection Act. But he likes to manufacture and invent facts that give him additional authority. That's why he and Stephen Miller are often saying things are an emergency, an invasion, a rebellion, because that would give the executive branch more authority. But they cannot make up facts when they're not present. And this judge in Immergut in the District of Oregon said that Trump's determination was untethered from the facts. He's also untethered from the law.
And again, Immergut, a Trump appointee, just lest anyone believe that this is supposed to be somehow partisan or political. I want to ask you both the same question. And General Rayfield, we'll begin with you, which is we've seen this president attack people he perceives as his political rivals, most recently using the Department of Justice to go after another attorney general, Letitia James. You've seen all the same reporting that I have, that there are folks inside that office who say there's no there there. I have no case to bring. You still have a White House that's pushing to go forward with it anyway. Do you, General Rayfield, worry that you could be next?
I think I worry about everybody in the United States because this is a president who leads through fear. OK, his entire party is scared to buck him. And this is what he's doing. He is weaponizing this Department of Justice against his political opponents. This is not America. What I do have faith in is I have faith in the American people. I have faith in our judiciary system, that when they do try to attempt to do that, that there is going to be a pushback. It's those 12 jurors in a courtroom who aren't going to buy this garbage as they try and sell it to us. And that's why it's so darn important for all of us to really recognize the moment we're in and see what he's doing. Because it's not just this. He's weaponizing the Department of Justice. He's normalizing the military. He's talking about rigging our elections to maintain power in November. He's talking about cutting down on the free press. This is not America. These are the things you expect in a different country. These are things we cannot tolerate. And again, I say this a lot, but we as Americans cannot allow ourselves to become the frog in boiling water. We need to give voice to these issues and push back as often as we can.